Hi there, this is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, and welcome to our random review. Today's random review comes from 1970, and it's Play It Cool by Masumura. If Arrow releases another Masumura film, you knew I was going to do a random review of it, because Masumura really has blown up my rankings. So this is from 1970, which is perhaps getting to the end of Masumura's purple patch in the 60s. I haven't actually seen too many late Masumura to confirm that or not. This doesn't star Iyako Wakeo, sadly, but it's still well worth watching, well worth picking up. This stars Atsumi Mari, who then kind of became a singer after her acting career. According to the extras, she wasn't actually treated that well by the studios as far as pay. And again, for Masumura, for those who don't know, the women in Masumura films tend to be the most important characters and kind of get the best roles. There is an amazingly great piece by Japanese film scholar Mark Roberts in the extras, which is almost worth the price of the Blu-ray, called Too Cool for School, which is a new essay on Play It Cool, but also it's an in-depth discussion about Masumura, which is absolutely essential viewing. It's at least 20-25 minutes, I think. It's almost Tony Raines level of detail about Masumura, how he got his start, the fact that he was kind of in between all the generations, if you like. He was, you know, younger than the Ozus and the Kurosawas, but then he was older than the Oshimas and the new wave, so he was kind of stuck in between. And then post-war Japan, there was the kind of Japan should go modern as in humanist, or should go socialist as in communism, and it's a brilliant discussion that I would highly recommend. I might as well do the extras while I'm talking about that. There's a brand new commentary by Jasper Sharp and Anne McKnight, and there's the trailer, but that video essay, that chat by Mark Roberts, is absolutely amazing. So Masumura for me is kind of up there with Mizoguchi and Bergman, even Woody Allen, I guess, as far as directors who really give women the best roles. Masumura kind of believed that men were kind of animals, and to understand the human condition, it's easier to kind of use women to discover the human condition, because men are basically beasts, and through women, because they give birth, it's more interesting to look at humanity through female characters. So that's probably why his female characters are so good. Now obviously the female characters go through a bunch of stuff as well. It's not as if they're treated very well or they're held up as saints or anything like that. So this is no different, because this stars, as I said, Atsumi Mari, and she plays a fashion student who lives with her mum, who is a bar girl, a hostess, and her latest boyfriend, who's just a degenerate gambler, pretty much. and the mother wants Yumi, Atomi's character, to make something of her life and not become a hostess like her mum. But one day, while they're alone, the boyfriend basically rapes her. So she was a virgin, but not after he's raped her. And the mother kicks him out, but is also blames Yumi for it as well. And that comes to a head, and the mother attacks the boyfriend and ends up in jail. So Yumi has to get money from somewhere, so you can kind of guess she ends up being working in a bar as a hostess. But she has a plan. She's not going to end up like her mother, so she uses men through the power of poker, because all these businessmen want to sleep with and spend the night, but she only will do that if they beat her at poker, because she's quite good at poker. So that's her way of making extra money, and it's all to try and help her mum when she comes out of prison. She has a kind of friendship slash relationship with the manager, obviously, but he has the madam as his lover. He's played by Kawusa Yusuke, as I look up my notes. So he's divided between the two women. Obviously Yumi doesn't sell her body that often, but when she does, it's for a decent price, and she's made money from the poker game as well. Obviously the tensions between the three kind of erupt, and she ends up being the mistress for the boss, played by Nishimura Ko. I hope you're a familiar face to everybody who has watched Japanese films, obviously. If you haven't watched Japanese films, you won't recognise them. But again, everything that she does is calculated for her to get money. So instead of being a victim that we see in so many of these films, she's actually taking it upon herself. Yes, she's selling her body at times, but she's making it well worth her while, and it's all for a plan of once her mum comes out, because she saved her from the boyfriend, is to give her mum an easier life when she comes out. Now, because it's Masumura, it's not like everything's going to be fine and everybody lives happily ever after. Of course not. It's just brilliantly acted. Obviously at times it's heightened, and again Masumura was so efficient. Again, it's about 94 minutes or so, and again it's time for the character stuff. So even though she's doing dubious things, you are on her side, with the exception of the boyfriend of her mum. Nobody's completely horrible. Well, that's maybe not completely true, but I'm not going to tell you about that. Is it one of Masumura's Stone Cold classics? No, but it's still very good, and it's still well worth checking out. I'm sure not many people will buy it anyway. It's not a gangster film. It's not a horror film. I'm amazed that Arrow actually released it. hopefully they'll release more of Masumura films, but maybe stuff like Sasuke's wife doesn't really have an arrow angle. I guess this has a bit of an arrow angle because it's got some nudity in it, and it's got a little violence in it. But I was so happy to see another Masumura get a Blu-ray release. And again, hopefully he'll continue to get more publicity and more love, because I think he's a wonderful director. But again, he has that problem, you know, no two of his films are exactly the same. So, you know, people, when a filmmaker does lots of different things, people like to tie a filmmaker down to and pigeonhole them, and you can't really pigeonhole Masumura. You can take something like Red Angel, which is a grim war film, but then you'll do Giants and Toys, which is a satire of commercialism and capitalism. So yeah, and then you'll do Blind Beast, which is a completely odd thing all by itself. Yeah, so it's another wonderful Masumura, not top shelf Masumura, but still well worth seeing. And again, as I said, the extra with Mark Roberts just gives you a complete overview of the guy, and it's just one of the best extras, kind of looking at a director, summing that director up, that I've seen for a while. So thanks very much for watching this random review. Also, I haven't went into too much detail because I'm guessing not many people have seen it, but it's well worth picking up. So please let me know if you have seen Play It Cool, which perhaps isn't the best title in the world for the film, but never mind. And hope you'll join me again for more random reviews. This is Solitary Ronin from Solitary Ronin Films, saying farewell.